Like many of you, I struggle to trade the opening range on a lot of the days when we're not trending right off the bat. And I want to give you some of my tips and the trades that I took today to how to get a little bit better at operating within these ranges that we set at the opening. So you can see I had two trades today. The P&L is going to be flat because I started and I finished in a bad way. The combine that I started at the open, I lost it on two trades because I took two losses this morning. But I want to go over the first one here on a short on the opening range low. It really does fit my plan on a New York VWAP bounce, break of lower day VWAP. All this is taught on AceFX TV if you want to check it out on Futures 2.0. That I'm proud that I did not chase the first break of opening range low. It often doesn't run very far or at all, so we want to see if that's going to be inducement, and let's see if we get a better price after a pullback. And notice how the open was kind of sideways, kind of bullish, but not really, rejecting that previous day's New York VWAP and still making these lower highs. So I'm liking the shorts. We pull back, still hold underneath that VWAP. No break of lower day VWAP yet, so I'm not in short. Paint another lower high again, now the fifth one. And we do get that break of lower day VWAP saying, yep, sellers are trying to move us lower. They're moving us lower on top here. And if I'm looking for shorts, that is what I care about. And it's holding the VWAP. So let me give a crack at this short because if this does move lower, how am I going to say I didn't like the shorts with the lower high, lower low, lower high, and if we go make that lower low, why aren't I in the shorts? It's below all VWAPs. We'll take a look at the 15-minute chart in just a little bit. That I take the lick on there as it comes back to the top of the range. And this is a tight opening range. It's about 10 or 12 points. So let's give it some time, and it actually breaks for a new high. All right, new high a day. Buyers are clearly in. This thing's just drifting. Let's let it pull back, though. We're not going to just long it at the top. Here's my pullback. Right back to that same VWAP I just sold it off of. Now I get a chance to buy it off that same VWAP after, ideally, for my long, that this was the higher low, let's go make the next higher high. It's off two key VWAPs, it's off the opening range high, and even a break of high day VWAP in there. And the pullback we get, it builds another higher low, and a second break of high day VWAP. Okay, beautiful. Here's two breaks of that high day VWAP, buyers are in. Let's go to the moon now, shall we? Right back down to the bottom of the opening range low where it stopped me out on my short earlier. What is going on? There's no trend follow through in either direction. What am I supposed to do here? Am I chasing it at the worst prices? I'm not really chasing it. I'm getting it after a pullback, right? It'd be one thing if I sold it down there after the drop and bought it up here. Yeah, you deserve to lose. But I waited for some nice pullbacks. Just couldn't get the reward of that follow through because trend was changing. So let's go over the charts here and you'll see the lack of follow through the whole entire day really until one little pop at 1 o'clock. Because when you look back to here, or rewind it, up until it does drop, this still looks like, well, I can't short it down here. I mean, look at the bounces on my two shorts earlier. Bounce, bounce. There's some support down here, but clearly there's sellers in control on top. So am I following these lower highs or what's going on? What do I do here? That's where I say, especially after the two losses I already took, if we're within this opening range, I'm leaving it alone. I know it's trying to get outside of it, right? Oh, it's outside the open range low. I'm allowed to trade it. It just gets right back inside. Gets out of it, right back inside. So it's not actually leaving the station, giving you new information that, hey, trend is now setting in and we're making clear lower highs and lower lows. You want to short this? It's still playing around with those same levels we were at the open. So I want to get really new information to try to short this, like a new low a day there. But then what does it do? It goes a little bit lower and then right back up and it's done for the day. I mean, this was terrible price action, but there are wins within it, right? If you were short bias on that break of New York, there's some lower highs in here. Just tough for me to want to follow with the choppiness at the open, with the two losses I already took, right? Like I said, I started and lost that account before you could even blink because it was on a new account on these two trades by 10:45. I had already started an account at the open and it's gone within an hour and 10 minutes. That's pretty fun. But I want you guys to look at the opening range as if we were trending outside of it, right? If this were to win, same thing with my short, I'd want to be involved in that. Same thing with the short. I'd want to be involved in that just like the long. So I'll go back to the 15-minute and you'll see one more time on my short play. Still, it doesn't give you too much information, but how I could have gotten out of this. When I short it, let's rewind it. My short is coming when we're looking like this. Clearly underneath the overnight, pretty sideways overnight actually, but under this overnight VWAP, and I'm getting a nice strong push for a new low a day. But then that 10 o'clock bar came in and that's what shot us higher. That's what made us lose. but we're underneath VWAP. So if we go head towards yesterday's low after having the bearish week we've been having of lower highs and lower lows, how can I not easily believe the shorts? It's been a bearish week. So that's why I was already leaning into the shorts. But then, okay, we get stopped out on the break of above the daily VWAP. So now I'm longing it with that strong break above the overnight VWAP, actually looking like a hold of this previous day's New York. But let's wait for a pullback, shall we? I need to see a pullback, and I'll look for the next leg back higher. Well, it came right back down. I mean, damn, I wanted this to retest off this overnight and move higher, and that's when I get in long, right there before it shoves right back down. So, kind of right back to what I was saying, if it looks like, yep, there's the lower high. We thought it might be off this overnight. It formed a little bit higher. So pretty tricky. I was right on the shorts at the beginning of the day, but it took an awkward way to get there as it chopped everyone out to the upside and then moved its way lower. And sometimes that's just the way it's going to be. It's not always going to be super clean trend that you maximized on at the open. You're going to take losses even though you were right on direction. You even got a good price, but the time you got that price was bad. You're just going to take L's, and that's the way it goes. But then hopefully, more times than not, you keep reading it the same and playing off the same VWAPs, you could win more times than not. But of course, there's going to be these days when it doesn't pan out the way you thought. That's not the market's fault. That's not your fault. That's not your misread. That's just the markets. They move in unpredictable ways. No one can explain it. Why the hell did we break for a new high, close to, and then right back down? Who knows? We just come back tomorrow, try to manage risk a little bit better, and read the trend. And then we get the strong bullish day the next day because the bears were out of gas. So hopefully you guys found value in that. Hope you made money on it some way or another, right? Because even if you traded right off of this New York, like a early low bounce play, you'd have to quickly scalp it. And one other thing, I guess, not that I would have done it, I was in profit on this long, looking good, and then just came down and smoked me. So I like the short, I like the long. Nothing more I really could have done to try to avoid these losses other than maybe patience of not jumping into the longs. If I was higher time frame short bias like I was an hour ago down here, I could have still kept in mind that bearish week. I don't really want to long it, so maybe look for the shorts to come back in. And if I was still looking for shorts, maybe I could have sold it down here once sellers really took back control, made the money back that way. But is what it is. I appreciate you guys always tuning into stream. Like I said, you guys can get access to it for free if you just use code FIRST for the full month. I want to give it to you guys here. For all of you that stuck around to the end of the video, I appreciate you as always. But any account with Top 1 Futures that you buy with my code Evan is going to get you one entry into the giveaway that they're doing. They're giving away 40 accounts, and every purchase you make is another entry, right? So you can get as many entries as you want. But use code Evan. The sale ends for this deal on August 31st, so hopefully you're watching it before then. You can get an entry into the giveaway. That's the only criteria. I appreciate you guys. Check out the sale. I'll see you guys on the charts tomorrow morning.